problem. This is from this example 4 of your textbook, but I want you to work on this. Try to prove or determine, determine, and using a proof might be the easiest way, but determine if the measure of dBA is equal to EBC. Okay? That's what you're working on. And you're done. You can get a note page if you like. Help you out. All right. So you reflect the beam of a spotlight off the mirror, lying flat on stage as shown. So you're trying to determine if B or dBA, so angle 2 and angle 3, is equal to EBC, angle 1 and angle 2. Okay? Anyone come up with a plan of attack there? Yeah? Carl?
So I just imagine that line CA is split in half, and I drew the line DB and EB further out, and I just said that one is the vertical angles.
Okay. So you like extended this, called these vertical angles?
Yeah.
Okay. So you're talking like this. Okay, so those aren't vertical angles, though. You'd have to include this angle and that angle.
Yeah, but then I just said CA was split in half.
Okay, so CA, so you automatically, so you're assuming that this is a bisector. Okay, meaning, so this would have to be vertical to that. And that's vertical to that. Okay. And so, does that tell us that dBA, so this 2 and 3 is congruent to 2 and 1?
No, see, now you just confused me. Okay, I had it, and then, never mind.
All right. Hey, let's start up with a proof on this, okay? Let's say we know that the measure of angle. So I'm gonna start us into a 2-column proof. So stay with me on it. This is what we're going to be working with. Statements and reasons. This is your beginning to 2-column proofs here. We will be working a little more on it tomorrow, but the measure of angle 1 is equal to the measure of angle 3. That's my first statement. I'm going to number my statements. How do I know that? How do I know that? Moonty? Yeah, the signs. It's a given, okay? They give us that information because they mark it in the diagram. So we can just say that that is given. All right? Make sure you raise your hand if you have a question on it. From there, we go dBA. So this. So get a highlighter here. This angle is made up of which 2 angles? Moonty? 2 and 3. Okay. So KJ, do you know how we can say that? Say measure angle dBA is equal to, yeah, it's equal to angle 2 plus angle 3. Or the measure of angle 2, I guess, would be a more appropriate, and measure of angle 3. How do we know that? This is where all those postulates start coming in, those theorems we had. This is called the angle addition postulate. What does angle addition postulate say? Say if you add 2 parts of an angle together, you get the whole angle. Or if you add, a whole angle is made up of the sum of its parts. That's what the angle postulate says. Most of you go, well, duh, those 2 things make up that angle. Yep, that's what you're saying. And so we can say the same thing about, EBC, right? So I want you to use the angle addition postulate to make a statement and a reason for EBC there. Okay? Using the same idea that we just used.
So we have dBA is
Yep.
and then the other one is EBC is the sum of measured angle 2 minus angle
Okay, hold on a second. Let's I think you're on the right track, but let's actually. Okay, so you got EBC. EBC is equal to the measure of angle 2 plus the measure of angle 1. Okay, how come? Yeah, the postulate thing, it's called the angle addition postulate. All right. From there, I want everyone to come up with what you can do using these two statements. Look at what they have in common. Maybe even utilize this top statement here. Okay? Figure out how you can use those three statements to come up with a fourth statement. All right, Abdul, what do you got, bud? Okay, I like angle 1 is equal to angle 3. You're right. So what am I going to do with that? Hey, how do these two things differ, Abdul? Okay, so really, when you really get down to it, the big difference between DBA and EBC are those two things. The angle 2 is in common, correct? Okay, so how can you use this statement to make those two things the same? Good, so you could actually say the measure of angle DBA is actually equal to the measure of angle 2 plus the measure of angle 1. All you've done is you've used, what skill right there? What did you replace? When we replace something, what do we call that? Danica? Yeah, KJ. Yeah, substitution. You're using substitution there. Okay? So now that you know 2 is equal to 1 for DBA and EBC says 2 equals 1, or excuse me, 2 plus 1 equals DBA and 2 plus 1 equals EBC, the final statement we could say, Danica? What's the final statement? Good. You can say measure of DBA equals measure of angle EBC. And how can we say that? How are we replacing this with that? How are we putting in that for that? Dude. I know you get it. Maddie, what do you think? When I replace this for this, how can I do that? Note, these two pieces are the same now. That is equal to that. Because what? It says it, yeah. What are we using there? What mathematical skill? Substitution. Yeah, you're using substitution again. Okay, you're saying, hey, DBA equals this, EBC equals that, therefore DBA equals EBC. What's another way we could have called that? Yeah. Go ahead.
Oh, I was going to simplify it.
Hold on one second. Hold on. If EBC equals this and DBA equals that, then EBC equals DBA. That's another way of saying you could also use the transitive property. That would have been another deal you could use. Okay? I want you guys to get in the habit of ending your proofs. Okay? I end my proof, like when the Greeks did it, they used QED. That is like it is proven. I'm going to end mine using ZDD. I'm not going to tell you what it means right now. You'll have to figure that one out. Yeah?
So I'm thinking that if we have...
Oh, hey, hold on. Yeah, give me a second. All right? You guys need to come up with your own ending. Okay? So you come up, because it'll be an abbreviation on your next test. You're going to write it down. Let me know what it is. All right, Danica, you want to share?
Thank you. So I'm thinking that if we have the two obstacles, then we can simply subtract the measure of angle 2, and then we have angle 1 and angle 3 left, which we already said are equal.
Okay, good. So you'd have to write that up mathematically, right? And you're using the same idea. So you're going a different way of proving, using the subtraction property of equality. But you have to be able to write that up in a proof. Okay. All right. How many think you got it? All right. You guys, tomorrow we're diving into proofs. That's what we're going to be doing starting tomorrow. Okay? Be ready for that. Everyone has their assignment done, right? Okay? If you haven't finished that tonight, please, for 2-4.